Hey, good morning, Choice Residential. Hope your day's off to a fantastic start. We're back here in Suite Assist on the dashboard. I want to show you where you can find the seller net sheet, or as I call it, the estimate of seller's equity, because that sounds fancier. And I'm going to show you how to fill that out and go through it. So again, just click on Broker Docs up here at the top. And then I'm just going to start typing in estimate, and it's going to filter the documents here, and we see the estimate of seller's equity. So now if I click on this eyeball, this will just be to preview it. If you click on the download button, this will download an Excel spreadsheet for you, which is the format that this net sheet is in. So let me click on this, and this brings up the document that you'll be seeing here, or a preview of that document, I should say. And so we start here at the top. Of course, we're going to enter in what we think our estimated sales price is. So it's a good idea to use this when you are taking the listing, just with a projected, maybe what the list price is going to be. But then when you get an offer, you can actually fill this out with real numbers so they can see what their likely takeaway is based on the offer in hand. The highlighted line here is what their payoff is. So if you have that information or just a rough number, of course, the more accurate the number that you're putting in there, the better. But you can just start with what their recollection is of their payoff if they don't have that statement with them. And then if they have an equity line payoff, we have a line item for that as well. So a HELOC, perhaps, sometimes they forget about that. So we want to know, do they have an additional payoff they're going to have? And we can subtract that out from the price and for what their net proceeds are going to be. So then we get into where the meat of this is. And so the first line item we have here is listing representation fee. So this is your listing agent fee. Now, this is the document I used even before the NAR settlement, but you can see here how this breakout, it makes even more sense post-settlement. So we have, what is our listing representation fee? Now, this is based on a 6% commission, but of course, a 6% total commission. But of course, we break it down by what our listing fee is, our marketing fee, and what the buyer agent fee is. So based on whatever the numbers are that you have with your client, that's how you're going to do this. But you'll see we have it broken up in these three ways on purpose. Generally speaking, the way I did it, although it's not reflected here, is that this listing representation fee and the buyer agent fee would actually be the same amount. So the agents are making the same amount for their representation fee, for the agency fee that they're charging or getting paid. But then we have a marketing fee in here. And so the idea with the marketing fee is that this is the revenue that's coming in that allows me to promote and market and prepare your home for being listed. The reason why I like to break it up that way is that most of the time sellers don't want to negotiate down the marketing fee, because that's the money that theoretically is being spent to promote their home. And so that's what's going to help them get it sold. So they don't want you to reduce theoretically the effort and the money that you have available to market and promote the home. So then that leaves a smaller amount of money left to negotiate, which is just the listing representation fee. So I like the way that feels, having those numbers broken up. Again, you could do it differently, but especially in today's post-settlement world, you need to have your listing fee, whether or not you break it out between listing fee and marketing fee, but you need to have that as a separate line item or line items from the buyer agent representation fee. Now, when you download the actual Excel spreadsheet, all of these formulas are in here, so you're not going to have to do the math. You're just going to enter in the percentages, and it will automatically calculate the math based on the sales price. Attorney fees we have in here is $350. That may be probably has started to get a little bit higher than that in terms of what sellers pay for their attorney fee for closing. So maybe you want to put $500 in there, $600, just a nice round number to make sure that you're including whatever fees may be associated with the closing attorney. Revenue stamps, of course, are $2 for every 1,000 of sales price. So we have that formula in here as well. So this will auto calculate based on what the sales price is. If we think there could be a home warranty, or if we know that they are going to provide a home warranty, which by the way is a great idea with the listing, you could go ahead and put the cost of that in here. HOA certification fee. So if they are in an HOA community, chances are there is going to be some kind of fee that they pay in order to have their account ready to be transferred. So that typically is a seller cost. Again, that number can change, so you can either contact the HOA to find out what it is, or just put a round number in here just to be safe so that they're not surprised by that cost. The next line item is closing costs / repairs paid by the seller. Now, this is where it's up to you on how you like to have this conversation with a seller. I often did not actually put a number in there. We just talked about the fact that they may have to spend some money on repairs. There is no average because, of course, every home is different. Sellers would love to know what is average, but we see anywhere from $500 to 10 or 15 or more $1,000 based on items that may or may not show up on a home inspection report. So it's hard to give an accurate number there, but you just want to make sure they are thinking about the fact that there may be some cost associated with repairs. Or again, this is where if you actually have terms of an offer and there are seller paid closing costs built into that offer, you would insert that right here. Taxes and HOA dues prorated. So what we're looking here is that you have property taxes that if they are escrowing with their current mortgage company, they will get that money back. So their mortgage company is holding money to pay the property taxes at the end of the year. But if they sell the home and the property taxes haven't been paid yet, they're going to have to give some money to the buyer at closing. But then the seller's lender is going to give them money back out of that escrow account that they had been collecting all year. So for the most part, this is a wash. And so I often would not actually put numbers in here. However, you can do the calculations based on when you think you're going to close, do the prorated amount of taxes that would be collected that they're going to pay to the buyer, and just let them know. The time that it becomes very important to actually take the time to do that calculation is if their net proceeds are very close to being negative. So if they may have to bring money to the table, then it's important that they understand what these numbers will be, because even though they're going to get it back from their mortgage company in terms of an escrow account refund, at closing, that money has to be accounted for by giving it to the buyer. So if that's going to make them upside down and have to actually bring money to the closing table, you want to know that. But if they're clearing plenty of proceeds, then it doesn't really matter if that number is entirely accurate here, because it's basically going to be a wash in terms of a refund from their escrow account. So this gives them a total estimate of what their costs are. And then I have 0 in here for the payoff. But if you had anything in here for the mortgage payoff or the equity line payoff, of course, that would reduce this total number here at the bottom. And then, of course, the disclaimer at the bottom that these are just estimates. Numbers can change based on various factors. So this is a very simple net sheet, estimate of seller's equity, as I call it. North Carolina Realtor Association does provide a more maybe complicated, or they might say comprehensive net sheet. So feel free to take a look at that. To me, simplicity is king. And so I like to use this document, which gives them a good idea of what they'll be taking away. If you have tips, tricks, or other documents that you've created that you think would be helpful for other choice agents, please link to them or put them in the comments below, or send them to me, and I'll make sure that we share them out with our other agents. Otherwise, if you need me, as always, I'm just a phone call away. Take care. See you next time.